Hello learner, welcome to YourPedia education. So today we are here at IIT Mandi. I got an opportunity to interact with Professor Srinivas. So in this interaction, I will discuss with him some research overview related to his research area and lab. And this interaction is going to be very useful and informative for those students who are interested in pursuing their higher education like PhD, MS and MTech. So first of all, Professor Srinivasan, thanks a lot for sparing few minutes from your busy schedule. So before we proceed ahead, so please share your academic journey and your research area with our viewers so that they can relate with you.
Fine, thank you. And I did my PhD from IIT Madras in the field of design in ternary arithmetic circuits using the carbon nanotube field effect transistor.
Right.
So after that I went to NTU Singapore for postdoc.
Okay.
I was there for a period of around 2.5 to 3 years.
Okay.
So there I was working on the cyber security and the hardware security.
Okay.
And I was working in a project where we need to gather the information about some automated systems, where we need to gather the information using some FPGA boards and provide security to that.
Right.
So in 2019 I joined here, and from then I was working on this in-memory computing as my main core research area. Then I was working on hardware security and cryptography, right, where we will be providing the security primitives, something like a signature generation,
right,
the key generation for the
right,
encryption. This
right,
key can be used for the secure communication,
okay,
the encryption and decryption, so
right,
all these things. So that is about my research area, and usually I teach for MTech VLSI courses, something like reconfigurable computing,
okay,
where we will be teaching them how to interface the real world devices or the IO devices with an
right,
FPGA board. Then I will be teaching them something called low power VLSI, where
right,
we will be discussing about the various architectures and the system design of
right,
how to reduce the power consumption.
True.
Then I will teach some UG courses, something like digital system design,
Great,
where we will be teaching them about the basic digital electronics, all those
right,
things.
right.
Then I will teach, I have taught computer organization 4 times till now.
Right.
So where we will explain them about what is there inside a computer,
Right.
what is there inside a processor, how
Right.
does your computer executes a instruction,
True.
whenever you are connecting a IO device, how does it perform the IO
Right.
operation,
Right.
all those things we will teach them.
Right.
So this is about my teaching and research.
That's quite impressive, Professor Srinivasan. So as you told, you are taking both courses, you are taking UG courses, you are taking PG courses.
Yes.
So you are in the better position. In fact, you are the perfect person to answer your view. It might be, different from the different perspective, right?
Okay.
So what is the basic difference you see while teaching the UG student and PG student, and what is the difference of mindset? How much adjustment you need to do as a mentor or as a faculty?
See, the teaching for a UG student, because the UG students are coming by clearing their JE or
Right.
something, their level of intelligence or their level of freshness in their mind will be different.
Right.
While if you are looking at a PG student, they will be coming here by clearing a GATE exam after their 4-year bachelor degree. So they might be coming from some remote colleges where they may not have so much exposure to the outside world or what is really. So whatever we teach at the BTech level,
Right.
so they may not have the same exposure in their BTech.
Right.
So the PG students, we'll start from the little basic and suddenly we'll jump to some advanced studies.
Right.
So that they will get exposure to what is there in a basic level and what is there at the advanced level.
Right.
So while coming to the UG students, we'll teach them the basic very clearly so that it will help them in pursuing their career in some advanced research or some PG if they want to go for higher studies.
Right.
So all those things. So whatever we teach them in the UG, we'll provide them some practical knowledge to that. So that thing may be missing. I won't say it is true for all PG students. Some may be coming from some rural background where the engineering colleges may not have all the opportunities.
Right.
So, but to them also we need to cater what they missed during their BTech level or the UG level.
Right.
And here in IIT, the beauty of the PG students that they will do the TA work.
Okay.
Teaching assistantship.
Right.
So where they will get the opportunity to learn in pair with the UG students.
Right.
So sometimes these PG students will be helping them in clearing their doubts in practical sessions or the theory tutorial sessions.
Right.
So the PG students also will get to know about what to teach at the UG level,
True.
or how much to teach at the UG level. So those things.
So, as you mentioned in your research area while introducing yourself, there are very vast application research area you are working on.
Yes.
So, as a fresh graduate, when somebody is just graduation in electronics and communication, in electrical engineering, in instrumentation, in physics, MSc, something like this. So, they don't have that broader knowledge, like application based knowledge. As of now, students are only aware of solid state device, electronics device, digital electronics, digital system design, analog electronics, and microprocessor, microcontroller, and network theory, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what I believe, as my experience is, these are the fundamental or basic prerequisites of all applications.
Yes.
So as you mentioned, some of the key area like hardware security. You mentioned about some, there are some quantum computing also, there are some other areas also.
Yes. Yes.
So whenever students have to decide that which specific research area they need to proceed ahead in the VLSI, it become quite problematic and dilemma situation for them. So what parameter they need to keep in
It
mind?
is like VLSI is not only an area or a research where electronic students to pursue.
Right.
VLSI area is theirs for anyone.
Right.
So if you want to design a microphone or something,
Right.
the microphone basically at the end it is an electronic system.
True.
But before that you will have something like some sensor will be there.
Sensors will be there.
Then there will be some processing will be there.
Processing will be
So there is some part of signal processing will be there in that VLSI.
Ultimately, chips also need to communicate.
Yeah, communicate. That's what. So whatever you do in your basic understanding, at the end you have to make that as a product. That is the VLSI.
Right.
So it is like if you want to become a good digital engineer, either you should have some knowledge about the basic signal processing or the communication.
Right.
Because you are not going to implement a adder or a multiplier.
Right.
You are going to build a processor.
True. And
Then
these are the functionality in that.
Yeah. So you have to include that functionality in that.
Right.
So then only you can make the chip or a product.
Right.
So like so for becoming a VLSI engineer, you should have good knowledge about the digital. Then you should have a good knowledge about the how does a processor work.
Right.
And you should have a good knowledge about signal processing
True.
and the communication theory.
Right.
So all these things you should apply in the VLSI to make a big product.
Right.
So coming to the cryptography as well, I never studied any cryptography in my BTech or the PG or anywhere. After joining the postdoc, I started learning about the cryptography. So and one more thing is I held this position of the course coordinator for the MTech VLSI.
Okay.
We have 36 students. Out of this, 80% are coming from the electrical background.
Oh,
Only less number will be coming from the electronics background.
great.
But all of them are getting placed. We are having the record of 100% placement.
True.
And some of our students are going for the higher studies as well.
Right.
So they will be working on different. They will be working on the in-memory computing,
Right.
and the spintronics based computing.
Right.
So it is like we will be giving them whatever the information they require to pursue.
Right.
It is like if you want to say something is good or bad, no need to become a master in that.
Right.
If you know just at least what is that, then you can pursue your career in
Very
it.
true.
Similarly here also, if you want to become a hardware security designer or anything, whatever information you know about the cryptography basics, we will teach you that, and later onwards we will give you information whatever you require.
True.
So even though if you look at our curriculum, in the first sem of your MTech VLSI, we will have one course on the devices, which is extension to your electronic device circuits, which you learn in your BTech.
Right.
Then we will have one course on the analog CMOS IC design,
That is
which is
analog
an
electronics.
extension to your circuit analysis or the network theory, whatever you do there.
Right.
Then we will have one digital IC design.
Right.
So it is an extension to the digital electronics which you study there.
Right.
So it is like a will filling the gap to you, or they were giving some extension to you so that you can understand things better.
There can be smooth transition from the bachelor to master.
Yes. So because it is like once you are teaching at the BTech level, we will be teaching a +2 students the same thing. But once you are teaching a master student, all these 4 or 10 students are coming from 10 engineering colleges, or they might be coming from 10 rural backgrounds, or they might be done just a fresher at 2 years back or 4 years back. So that experience, in that experience of 2 years or 4 years, they might be working in some industry.
Right.
So they will have that exposure as well.
Great.
But after coming here, we should be teaching all of them the same thing.
Right.
So that's why we'll start with the basic. Then once their first year, they will do these basic courses. Then in the second year, we'll start with some advanced courses. So there they will be given a free hand to choose whatever they want to do.
Right.
So either they can go completely in the digital side by doing some courses like VLSI architectures or embedded systems and low power VLSI, and there is one course on reconfigurable computing, and they have some courses on this IoT as well.
Right.
So they can do those courses and get good knowledge in the digital side, and they can do in the analog side.
Right.
And we have a VLSI technology theory and the lab,
Right.
where they will be fabricating some transistor, and last year the students they have fabricated a random resistive random access memory,
Okay.
which is very thirst area in today's circuits.
Okay.
So whatever the in-memory computing,
So
they
this was
have-
done by the MTech
students.
Okay.
So they have fabricated one RE RAM, which is like it will be acting like a memory.
Right.
So with the help of the TS and the professor, but as a group of 3 or 4 students, they have fabricated a RE RAM. They can fabricate a transistor, which is very unique quality of the MTech VLSI at IIT Mandi, that they can get to the knowledge about the practical things.
Right.
So they know how to fabricate. Then they, in one course, we will teach them how to design a filter or how to design a circuit. So all those things. Whatever theory we teach, it will be supported by practical knowledge.
Right.
And we have the track record of 100% placement.
That's quite impressive.
We will allow them to go for internship.
Okay.
So those who want to work for their higher studies, they will sit here and do their project work in campus. And those who want to learn the technical standards at the industry, they will go for the internships.
So we can consider that if students have any fear about flexibility of courses, internship before joining the IIT Mandi, so those already Professor Srinivas have addressed. In fact, this was going to be my next question, that you earlier told that in first semester we have the basic subjects.
Yes.
So already you explained in great way that how we share them the freedom to choose their respective research area, right?
Yes.
So next thing is that in your research laboratory, especially at IIT Mandi, what are the key projects right now going on?
See, as I told you earlier, one of my PhD student, he is working on the in-memory computing.
Okay.
So he will be using some memory store models to build some memory where inside this, if you look at any computer, you will be having a processor
Right.
and a memory separately.
Right.
So the processor and memory has to fight with each other to get the
Right.
data and to
Right.
do computation. So in between, too much of time has been wasted. So that's why we want to combine both of them together, and in a single unit you will be doing the storage as well as the processing.
Right.
So you will be doing the computations and storing there on.
Right.
So the time whatever you require to transfer your data between the processor and the memory can be reduced or can be zero or else.
Right.
So these will be mostly used in all nowadays these neural networks.
Right.
So where they have to do some rigorous computations between a kernel and the vector.
Right.
So all these matrix multiplications in neural networks are the machine learning algorithms. There they can use this in-memory computing. Other than that, we will be working on this cryptography and the hardware security.
Right.
So I am working on specifically something called this secure health monitoring systems.
Right.
So where a device will be there with all possible medical sensors to record the wellness of a person. So once the hospital gives you the device,
Okay.
the hospital is the trusted party now.
Right.
So now the third person can't sell that data, that device to you. So the hospital is having the trustworthy over there, that you will be giving a device to you, so that whatever data you recorded, that will be stored in a cloud storage, and the hospital only will have the access to that.
Right.
It is not the third person who can get access to that. So now the hospital can have access to that, and they can do this telemedicine over there, and they can prescribe the medicine or whatever depending on the critical condition of the patient. So here this is after COVID, it is like the communication between the hospital network or the patient has been, they are trying to reduce because the number of patients are increasing.
Right.
So they want to reduce the overload on the outpatient wing. So now they started, they can give you some smart health monitoring device,
Right.
where you will use it your home. So this will be useful in remote locations such as the Himalayan region.
Right.
So now here the security is the main thing which we are concerned with. So the device which they are given, it should not be supplied by a third party.
Right.
If the third party comes and gives you the same device, the hospital network will not accept the data from that.
Right.
or if whatever data you are storing in a cloud, the third person should not get access to that.
Right.
Because when you are talking about the normal people, it is fine, but once you are talking about the some VIP case or something, then it will give you some serious issues. So even if they change the pulse by some value, then it may create a serious situation over there. And the same thing you can adopt in the military defense as well,
Right.
where you will keep a camera in a drone, but you don't want the camera to be accessed by another person.
Right.
So similarly, there also we can use some security and the hardware security over there.
So here I want to ask you one question from all the projects and all the areas you told me, right? So as a supervisor, what is basically your thought process while incorporating the real-time application and technology trend into your laboratory? While you are deciding that this will be the research problem we will be working on, how much pre-work is there involved and what is the basically influence factor of these real-time application and technology trend?
See, it is like today you might be choosing one problem and it may take some 6 to 9 months to work on that and to decide a platform for that I can pursue my career in this for next 5 to 6 years.
Right.
But by the time you start that problem, there might be some n number of people who already have created a platform for them. They might be doing marvelous things in there.
Right.
So, but now you should start thinking that what is the gap between their research outcomes.
Findings you need to do.
And that finding you have to do and we have to work fast so that the third person will not come with this.
Do you think that in today's world students believe in literature review, they have that much time, they do the literature review, because without review they can't have findings?
See, without review they can't do anything. See, it is like student may think that why do I need to study these many papers?
Right.
Anyway, I am not going to implement those. But I will tell you one thing, like if you start writing something or if you start doing some painting by looking at a painting,
Right.
this may not be identical,
Very
but
true.
at the end it may come as a painting which may have some variation, which may look some plus delta or minus delta in beauty wise as well.
Right.
So that also you can sell. So that's what I will tell to my students, whatever work you are reading, first create that. While creating that, your innovations will start. So, and I will tell you one thing, Professor Vidyasagar, he told me once, like, so if you are reading one paper today, your vision will be up to one level.
True.
Then you will be thinking up to some level.
Right.
You read the same paper after 3 months. Now in these 3 months you might have learned so many other things.
True.
Now your vision will increase.
Your perspective will change.
Perspective will change, and how you understood the things at that time and now will not be the same.
Right.
So the same paper if you read after 9 months, you may have a different thought process as well.
Right. It's an analogy example I want to take here. We shift to new city. The first time we go, we don't know much. We just know from our workplace to home destination.
True.
But you visit that city frequently, you come to know many more places. So I guess students need to understand this in layman language, right?
True.
So now coming to next point, sir. The next point is we talk about cryptography, we talk about cloud, we talk about hardware security. So I believe as a VLSI technology or as a VLSI researcher, so if somebody wants to ensure the security and trustworthiness at the design level, so how much knowledge he need to have apart from these core electronics domain? Sam, if somebody want to contribute into cryptography, what is your take on this, that whether there is a lot of knowledge required apart from the technical stuff, or it's okay, he can do if it's willing?
See, it is like that's what I told you. If I give you one salt and one sweet, to tell you that this is salt and this is sweet, you just need to taste that. No need to do a chemical reaction over the salt, that how much sugar is there in this sugar, like that. So that is the starting point for you.
Right.
So further, if you want to do similarly in any area, when you are adopting that, first you understand what you want to know.
Right.
See, it is late if you don't know what you want to study or where to study, how much to learn.
Right.
Then you will be learning something, then you will not become a VLS engineer, then you will become a cryptography engineer.
True.
So you should know how much to learn and how much to adopt.
Right.
So it is like there will be always the starting hurdle will be there, that is true. So you have to cope up with the hurdle and you have to proceed further. So the same thing, once you start reading any novel or any new article, at the first few pages you won't feel comfortable with that, because you will not be getting introduced with the new characters in each and every page. Then you will get confused with those. But after few pages you will get to know about the each character. Similarly, when you adapt to any new area, so the initial hurdles will be there. Whether you come from signal processing to VLSI or VLSI to cryptography, the new hurdle will be there. But you should know where to stop, and you should not continue in the same direction. You should, once you learn up to a point of H, then you should see how to implement that in practically. That should be there.
So finally summarizing, if there is some passionate researcher who want to contribute, who want to work under you as a supervisor in the research area which you mentioned earlier while introducing yourself, so what are those key expectations or key things which you will see in his academic profile or in his academic CV, that these are the things at least this person should have?
See, I can tell you that we don't see all those things in their CV.
Okay.
So while doing the interview, we will see how good are at answering us. So they may not know the all 10 questions which we ask, but at least if they are trying to answer. See, if I ask you something, not you, if I ask a student what is this answer for a particular question, immediately if they say I don't know, then we don't find that student interesting.
True,
so
because
they
he's not
they should
putting
try.
stress on mind. He's not
they should try at least. So whatever, whether they are coming for the masters or the PhD, once they come here, we'll train them as per our need and as per their level of understanding. It is not like we don't expect the student to come up with a prepared mind that I am going to work in this X direction or Y direction so that I can read up to some point. But the basic understanding of the things they should have. They should be good at their UG level subjects or the PG level subjects, or if they are a good VLSI, they want to do a good research in VLSI, they should know whether they want to go in the digital area or the analog area. If they want to go in the analog area, they should know the basic thing of how an amplifier is working or how to design an amplifier. Once they come here, we will teach them anyway, that is fine. But their learning should not start with 0 without teaching. So they should be able to jump from 0 to 10 or 10 to 20 just by listening to us, by doing some work on them. For that, they should have a basic knowledge. So we expect them to have a good knowledge and the dedication. If the student is dedicated enough, then he can do a good research, whether it is masters or PhD.
That's good. So Professor Srinivas, I want to take your brief on what is, according to you, difference between MTech and MTech by research. Because IIT Mandi have started MTech by research also. So in brief, can you tell what is the basic difference?
See, MTech and MTech by research is like there will be some students who want to do rigorous research. So we want to give them an opportunity from the PG level onwards. So they will be having a less coursework of some 12 credits or 15 credits. So after their credits, they will be having a 2 years time or a 2.5 years time. It will be a duration of 3 years. So they will have a long duration. You can say that it is like a 50% of the PhD or 40% of the PhD. We expect the student to do some literature work, and we expect the student to do some research on that, and the student will get some publications. So it is like if somebody want to go for PhD or their career in a research and development R&D side, then they should come for the MTech by research. Because here we will give them how to do a research or how to do literature review, all those things. So this is about the MTech by research. Here they will be studying on a particular topic, or they will be doing research on a particular field. Coming to MTech, the normal degree which is there in all IITs and NITs as well. So this Master of Technology is like they will be doing a rigorous coursework for 1 year. So in some institutes they will do a coursework for 3 semesters as well. So for 1.5 years they will do the coursework, and in the last 6 months or the 9 months they will be doing a project work. So their project work will be limited in the time and limited in the outcome as well. So there will be some students who will work hard in those 6 months and do get good outputs as well. But here we don't expect them to, the research outcome should be similar to a MTech research. So there they will be doing a total coursework of some 10 courses or 15 courses they will be doing, while a MTech research will do only courses of some 3 to 4. So it is like that.
So last final call, it's the admission time. Student will be joining the academic session of 2023 in the August. So what is the key points of IIT Mandi VLSI, be it regarding of the placement, be it regarding in terms of the flexibility, which you want to share with our viewers that why they need to join IIT Mandi?
See, right now VLSI field is the very thrust area in terms of the jobs or the careers or the academic research or the industrial research. And now coming to IIT Mandi, here I told you earlier that we are having the facilities to cater them from the basic to advanced level. So we will be teaching them how a semiconductor diode is there, and we will be explaining the same in a laboratory as well, how it will be fabricated.
Right.
So they can relate what they are learning in the theory and what they are doing in the practical. And similarly, we have some courses like the digital IC design and the CMOS analog IC design, and we have some advanced courses on the FPGA, something called the reconfigured computing. Then we'll have some VLSI architecture course. Then we'll have an embedded system course. Then on the analog, we'll have a mixed signal VLSI. Coming to RF side, we have a microwave integrated circuit. Then we'll have a transmission lines. So all those things courses. So it is like every unique field of the VLSI, we have very strong base over here. So we are offering 2 to 3 electives in each and every field.
Right.
So and if you look at the course structure, it is like in the first semester we will be teaching them all the basic things. Then in the second semester we will be teaching them all the advanced courses or whatever they'll require to adapt into VLSI industry. In the second year, either the student can go for the internship or they can do the in-house projects inside the campus. So we will provide all industry level tools for them, so that the student can get trained with the industry level tools. See, they might be having some plus or minus delta in the tool, but whatever the tool which we are using at the IIT Mandi for teaching, the same tools they might be having this CAD and Synopsys, we are having the licensed versions over here. So they can get over to the, see, VLSI industry is mostly how effectively you can use those tools to design something. Fine, at the end you have to use some tools to design. If you say that I know how to draw a circuit on a paper with
but you need to implement it, you need to understand the parameter analysis, you need to do it.
If you don't know how to implement and how to check the results, so then you won't be able to cope up with it. So we'll teach them everything at the institute in the first year itself. In the second year they will be doing the internship. Some of them will get the PPO replacement offers as well. So and coming to the facilities, we have the C4DFD, which is the center for
I yesterday visited only that lab. It's a quite impressive setup we have done.
So that is very fabulous lab at IIT Mandi. The students will get to know about the clean room facility. So it is very unique facility at the IIT Mandi. Then we have all kind of facility for the students to learn. From the basic device to the advanced fabrication, then from basic diodes to the RE-RAM, then from a basic circuit to a advanced amplifier or the op-amp. So we have our faculty that are Hitesh and that are all, they will be fabricating some ICs. So they can do the testing of those ICs. So we have variety of features at the IIT Mandi for the MTech VLSI students.
So guys, all those who are looking forward to join this academic session, especially with the specialization of VLSI, so you can take IIT Mandi as one of the top options. So we are here since last 4 to 5 days and we have explored the facilities and lab infrastructure. It's quite impressive. So Professor Srinivas, it sounds there's a lot to look forward to, but we need to wrap up it. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and thanks for your valuable insight and experience. Thank you.